हम देख रहे हैं पाइथन प्रोग्रामिंग के बारे में। पाइथन प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज। तो सबसे पहले हम देखते हैं, इसमें ब्रेक डाउन करेंगे सब चीज़ों को कि लैंग्वेज क्या होती है, प्रोग्रामिंग क्या होती है, और फिर पाइथन की तरफ आएंगे। तो अगर हम लैंग्वेज की बात करें तो लैंग्वेज जो होगी आपका वे ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन होगा। वे ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन, इसके अंदर आप क्या रहेगा कि आप जो भी आपके थॉट्स हैं, फीलिंग्स हैं, वो शेयर करने के लिए, आपका जो भी आइडिया है वो शेयर करने के लिए हम किसी एक मीडियम का यूज़ करते हैं, जिसे हम लैंग्वेज कहेंगे। तो जैसे कि ह्यूमन लैंग्वेजेस हैं, जिसे हम नेचुरल लैंग्वेजेस भी कहते हैं, ह्यूमन लैंग्वेज या नेचुरल लैंग्वेजेस। नेचुरल लैंग्वेज, तो जब अगर फॉर एग्जांपल हिंदी की अगर हम बात करते हैं, हिंदी हिंदी तो अगर दो पार्टीज़ हैं या दो लोग हैं जिन्हें बात करना है किसी एक पर्टिकुलर लैंग्वेज में, तो उन दोनों का भी दोनों उस लैंग्वेज को जानना चाहिए। जैसे अगर कोई हिंदी में बात करना चाहे तो सामने वाला भी हिंदी में बात करे, तभी वो दोनों का कम्युनिकेशन हो पाएगा, वरना प्रॉब्लम आएगी कम्युनिकेशंस में। तो अगर समझिए कोई हिंदी वाला है और कोई इंग्लिश वाला बंदा है, इंग्लिश, तो अब इस तरह की अगर दोनों में कम्युनिकेशन करना ही है तो हम यूज़ करते हैं ट्रांसलेटर का। हम यूज़ करेंगे ट्रांसलेटर। तो यहाँ तक कि मतलब इंग्लिश और हिंदी दोनों में। अब इसमें क्या होता है कि कोई भी लैंग्वेज का क्या होता है, एक तो वोकैबलरी होती है उसकी, वोकैबलरी, और दूसरा जो होगा ग्रामर होगा किसी भी लैंग्वेज का। और कुछ लैंग्वेजेस जो होती हैं सेम सेम लैंग्वेजेस होती हैं, मतलब एक ही फैमिली से बिलोंग करती हैं। थोड़ा सा मॉडिफिकेशन रहेगा किसमें, वोकैब में और ग्रामर में। अगर कोई आपको एक लैंग्वेज आती है, उसी से सिमिलर कोई लैंग्वेज होती है, तो हम उसको आसानी से पिकअप कर सकते हैं। तो इसी तरह हम प्रोग्रामिंग में देखते हैं। तो प्रोग्रामिंग में होगा क्या, उससे पहले हम देखते हैं प्रोग्राम क्या होता है। सो प्रोग्राम, तो कंप्यूटर मतलब फील्ड में हम प्रोग्राम को कहेंगे सेट ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन, इंस्ट्रक्शंस और कमांड्स और ऑर्डर। तब एक देखते हैं इंस्ट्रक्शन क्या चीज़ होती है। इंस्ट्रक्शंस या इंस्ट्रक्शन, इंस्ट्रक्शन यानी कि हम क्या कह रहे हैं, हम अपने कंप्यूटर को या सॉफ्टवेयर को या कंप्यूटर को हम कहते हैं कि एक इंस्ट्रक्शन दे रहे हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल हमने कैलकुलेटर ऑन किया और 2+5 इस तरह से हमने एक इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया, तो ये जो भी उसका प्रोसेसिंग होगा उसके बाद जो भी रिजल्ट आएगा हम उसको मिल जाएगा वो रिजल्ट। तो हम इस तरह से इंस्ट्रक्शंस लिखते हैं, जैसे हमने ये इंस्ट्रक्शन दिए कंप्यूटर को और वो हमें रिजल्ट देगा, तो ये एक इंस्ट्रक्शन हो गया। इसी तरह से बहुत सारे इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं, जैसे हमारे पास मोबाइल है, मोबाइल के अंदर हमारे पास डायल पैड है। हेलो पवानी, निमम, are you comfortable with Hindi or English? Which language you prefer? Actually, I'm revising yesterday's class in Hindi. If you are comfortable with English, I will go with English. Uh, am I audible? to you, Pavani? Okay, no problem. I will go with the English here. So what we have in our Android mobile, we have this dial pad. Dial pad means we have some keys on Android. Whenever you type any key 1 to 3, we will get displayed that result on our screen. So this is how we are giving instruction to a computer or mobile phone. So these are the set of instruction what we called as a program. Here program will be the dial a number. Dial a number. It will be a program uh, created by a developer to perform some task related to this dialing the phone. So this is how a program will work. For any system or any programming language, we have some component like input is there. Input is there. Then we have this processing or processor we can call processing, and then we have output is there. So input what we have this keyboard, this mouse we have, then we have this voice command also we have. Then maybe any network file is there, or normal system file is there, or network file is there. This any file system file is there. So these are the input for our program or our systems. In processing, what it will generally going to do, this calculation is there. Calculation, what is inside the calculation? If we consider our CPU is there, so it will perform some calculation in the form of zeros and ones, and after performing this calculation we will get the result, and that result may be in the form of our monitor. It will show in our monitor, or in the form of file. File may be a soft copy or hard copy. Hard copy means print. We can get the print of this one, or it may be in form of voice through the speaker, or maybe it is a network file, or maybe it is a normal configuration file, or normal file which is stored in our local hard disk. So for any programming language we have this input. Programming language also we have some system also. So this is how our system will work. It will take the input, and it will process something, and we will get the output. In processing, what we have, we may encounter with some condition. Means based on condition we have to perform some task, or may we have this looping concept is there. Looping means we have to do some tasks repeatedly, repeatedly. So this may be encountered in our processing. So this is one simple generic structure of a system, and this is also applied for our programming language also. Now what we are seeing about the Python. So Python is a programming language. So it is a general purpose programming language. General purpose. Why we are saying like general purpose? We can develop any near about any type of applications. So it is a general purpose language. Then it is a object oriented programming language. Object oriented. Programming language. So what inside object? Inside object we will get the class, and object of that class, and some properties like inheritance we will see in depth what is the object when we uh, discuss object oriented programming concepts. Then it is interpreted. Interpreted means as we for now it may be considered as a translator. Why we are calling as a translator? Let's see one example. As we discussed about this any language for Hindi to English, if you want to communicate we have to use one translator. Same applies to programming language. Computer only knows the our computer only know language of 0 and 1, and we are programming in our natural language, or what we can say high level programming language. There are many type of two types mainly. One is a low level programming language, one is high level programming language. So this is a programming language we have. So Python is the high level programming language. High level means the syntax of this Python is very similar to our English language. We will easily find out what is the means what we have written in the that programming language. So it is very similar to English. So this we are giving the commands or instruction in the English, pure English. Then there is one concept, this one two concepts are actually there: interpreter, and second is compiler. What here? Compiler. So these are the translators. For example, these are the for example we can say as a translator. What they will do? They will convert our program into the machine level, which is understandable by the machine or our computer. So there are slightly difference between this interpreter and compiler. This compiler, what we will do? Okay, let's. Whenever you write a program, this program, this is called as a source file or source code. Source code in that programming language, that particular programming language, for example Python. So there are two type of translator we have in computer. One is the interpreter and second one is compiler. So compiler will compile the whole file at once. Means whatever inside this file, it will going to compile whole file at once and give the if any syntax error there based on that language, particular language, it will throw that syntax. Syntax means grammar or rule we have of that particular language. Grammar or rule of that particular language. If there is any error, it will give that error. So this programmer or developer who develop this source code or program this source code, we call as a programmer. So it is a programmer's responsibility to rectify this error and solve these errors. So this is compiler. Compiler will compile the whole file at once. Second, what we have, interpreter. We have what interpreter will do. It will check one line at a time. One line at a time. It will check first line, second line, third line, and if there is any error or syntax error there, it will throw that one. That is, this is invalid rule of that particular programming language. So programmer have to rectify and correct this one. So this is a some little difference between these two. um, as compared to both, this compiler will work as in fast manner because it is compiling the whole file at once. Thus this interpreter somewhat is slow, but as a programmer we can't differentiate between these two. Both have its own advantages and disadvantages. So this is a Python is an interpreted language. Python. Next, what we have, Python is an interactive language. Interactive means, for example, I just want to add two numbers, 2 plus 5, and it will give us 7, like this one. For any programming language, for example, I am considering C language. So to do this work, we have to write whole program. But in Python, just we have to give one line is there. For example, in C program, what we have to write, void main is there. This is just for example, and we have to define one variable, for example, or there if no need to define, just we can say print f is there, and 2 plus 5 we have to give, and then we have to will get the result. So this we have to type, but in Python we can directly type this expression or this statement directly to the Python prompt. What we have, prompt or shell we have. We will see what is the shell and what is the prompt. We can easily means do interaction with the Python programming language without writing any large code. Then it is a dynamically typed programming language. What is the meaning of this dynamically typed? For example, we have two type of programming language. One is dynamically typed, dynamic type, and second one we have static typed. So Python is a dynamic type. What is the meaning of that one? In dynamically, first we will see what is the static. To define any data, we have to say which type of data we are going to handle in our programming. For example, we have some text data is there, or we have number data is there. There are two type of number. One is the integer number is there, and this is float number. Number means with dot we have 10.20 we have, and integer this whole number, for example 10. So whatever data we are using on our program, we have to define it which type of data it is. For example, it is text data or numerical data, or boolean data is there. There are many type of data. So what we called as data types, which type of data we are going to store in our program. So in a statically type programming language, we have to define the data type of that one. For example, we have to define which type of data number. This is a number, x is a 10. For this is just for example. There are means we have to define int x is equal to 10. So we have to, as a program, we have to define that this x is going to only hold the value which is in a number only. But in dynamically type, if we say x is equal to 10, based on runtime environment, it will assign the value. So it is a numerical value, it is a number value. Or sometime we can change like x is equal to this is hello, this is a string type or text type. So we can randomly or dynamically change the variable and its content means data we can change here. Once we define in static languages, here we have to stick with this one type only. We can't assign this text value or any float value for this same number. So this is a difference between static type and dynamic type. So Python is a dynamically typed. This is the advantage, and this is also disadvantage of this one. We will see what how this is a disadvantage. Python and this JavaScript, these are the dynamically typed, and C, C++, Java, these are the this static type. We have to, as a program, we have to define. Here, this Python software, whatever software we are using, this that programming language interpreter will automatically give the value. So this is a dynamically type. Next, we will see who is the developer of the Python. Up to this, if you have any question, let me know. Okay, so who is the developer or developer of a Python programming language? So a developer is the Guido Van Rossum. Rossum is the developer of the Python programming language. When he developed in 1989, and when it is publicly available in 1991, it is available on internet. So this is publicly available. Okay, what developer did, he implemented the Python in such a way that it take advantage of different programming languages. For example, we have this procedural or functional programming language. Functional programming language. For example, we have C. Whatever the functions means, whatever features inside this procedural or functional programming language, the developer took that features and implemented in the our Python software. So we can perform any procedural or functional language means program in our Python. If there is any program related example in C, we can make means exact copy in the Python if it is not supporting external any libraries or any specific to C. Then what we have, object oriented programming language. Object oriented programming languages we have. For example, C++, Java we have. So whatever features this object oriented have, the developer implemented that in features means whatever concepts are there, he implemented in Python. Next, what we have is scripting programming language. So we can do a script in our Python. For example, what we have, this shell scripting, or we can say as a bash scripting is there, and one language is there, Perl language is there. So he implemented the concept of the script also in Python. And then what we have, this modular. An example of this one is Modula 3. So modular means we are dividing our program into different modules. So we can do our program based on our requirement. We can create a class and object and perform whatever we want, or we can just simply script our program, or we can write in a functional programming language type of thing. Then we will see what are the different applications of Python programming. For example, what are the different applications? So Python is a general purpose programming language. General purpose programming language. So there are many applications of this one. We can write a command line based application, means only on command line. Command line application we can write. Command line means there is no graphics like this one. We don't have any graphic. For example, this just for example, we can say this printer. What we have this printer with LED. So there we will see just buttons are there. So this is just a command line. There is no graphics is there. Any mouse keyboard type of thing is not there. Just we have keys. So we can develop this type of program. Then we can develop the graphical user interface program, GUI, or graphical user. Graphical means like what we have here. This buttons we have, and some pictures we have. This type of program we can write in Python. How we will write? We have to some packages are there, or what we have, these modules are there. What are the package or module? Modules means developer design some Python files .py which make developers work easy. For example, these are specific to any application. For example, if we are doing graphical user interface programs, we have particular modules to implement that one. So we don't have to write from scratch. There are some third party or embedded modules are there. Just we have to call that one, and we have to write 3 to 4 line to do the graphical programming, or to design some window. For example, this window we have to design. Then what we have, Python, where application of that Python is in data science or data analytics. Data analytics, we can use that one. For example, artificial intelligence or machine learning we can use. There are many third-party modules are there. For example, what we have pandas, and scikit-learn we have. Scikit-learn we have. Then now we have TensorFlow, FB Profit we have different type of modules. Means third party this files we just have to import that one to our program, and we will write different machine learning or artificial intelligence program we can write. Then next application is web development. We can do web development. Whenever we are saying web development, we have three concepts related to web development. One is the front end. Front end means graphics, this GUI or graphics, what we are seeing in a website, it is called as a front end. So generally what we will use only HTML and CSS and JavaScript to develop this front end. There are many third-party modules or framework we have to design this one, but normally these are the only three types we can design our front end. Then whenever we are saying we are using Python in our web development, we are saying that we are using Python as a in a backend. We are using that one. In backend we have many programming language. For example, we have Python, and in backend what we have this web server we have, and some database we have. So this Python will provide the communication between this front end and this back end, means web server and database. So we will use this Python to communicate and to perform some operation related to our website. And the combination of these two, this front end and back end, we call it as a full stack web developer, we can say. So for web development we use Python as in backend, and there are many frameworks or modules to do this work. For example, we have Flask and we have this Django. D is silent here. So we have this Flask one. By using this we can easily design or develop our websites. Flask is used for small websites, and this Django will use for large scale or enterprise level websites we can do. Then what we have, this web crawling, or what we can say web scraping. So basically what we have in web crawling, we have to get information from different website or from any particular website. For example, one news agency is there. News agency, what they want, they are searching for 10 websites, and what they want, just they want to get the this heading of any website with interval of 10 minutes. So we can do by using this web crawling or web scraping, we can do that one. Next what we have, we can do system admin utilities. System admin utilities by using Python, or we can do this IoT based applications by using its API. API means application programming interface, and we can also do programming in a cloud. Cloud means this AWS there, or Google is there, or this Azure is there. There are many cloud provider we have. Famous one is this Amazon, and Google is there. We can do that type of programming in Python. Then we can design a multimedia and animated applications in Python. Multimedia media or animation application in Python. There are different what we have, modules or framework we have. By using that one we can design easily. And what we can do, we can do develop games in Python, or we can use Python as a to do the testing. Testing means we have to perform testing on our program based on different inputs and what we are getting the output. So there are many ways to do that one. So this is a testing we have. Then we can design a scientific or business application in Python. So what are the companies who are using this Python? There are many companies they are using. For example, YouTube internally use this Python, and this Dropbox also used Python. NASA also use, and Google also is there. They use multiple languages for based on their own business requirement, but one is Python also they use. And some means mainly startups also use. Why? Because it is a free and open source. Free and open source. We will see in detail what is the free and open source. Just we don't have to give any licensing fee to develop our application. It may be a personal application or a enterprise based application. So it is a free. Yeah. So this is a means these are the companies. These are the companies. They internally use the Python.